Hi, um, I'm doing another video about, well, the upcoming elections for Seattle is happening pretty soon, within the next year or two. So I'm speaking about people that are on the city council, women and men both, and trying to figure out where their campaign finances are coming from. It says here, it asks this question: where is Kshama Sawant's campaign money coming from? Her competition wants to know. Of course, yeah, the competition's going to want to know, of course. It says here, Logan Bowers, D3, wants us to follow the Sawant money. Seattle City Council candidates in District 3 say they're very concerned about where incumbent Kshama Sawant is getting her money. That could be a problem if the money's coming from sources that are going to ensure their long stability without helping the people that Sawant is supposed to be helping. It says here, Sawant, who is not participating in the Democracy Vouchers program, has raised $158,890 so far. That's the most money out of anyone in the 2019 City Council races. That's impressive, but it's also caught the attention of her challengers, the majority of whom say they're deeply concerned about the amount of money Sawant is receiving from outside of Seattle. Look, you're a city council person and you're supposed to be working for the city of Seattle. So why would you be getting funds outside of the Seattle area? It says here exactly how much has Sawant received from people who don't live in Seattle but really want to influence Seattle's elections. According to disclosures filed with the Seattle Ethics and Elections Commission, more than 83,000. Put another way, more than half, 52.4% to be exact, of Sawant's campaign contributions aren't coming from this city. Now, it's possible that people outside of the city have vested interests in Seattle, and they're expecting her to help them keep their interest alive. My personal opinion, I have no proof of that, so if anybody watches this video and they say, I'm throwing things around that I don't know about, that's true. That's just my personal opinion from what I'm seeing. Sometimes looks can speak louder than words. It says here, the only other candidate who comes close to this percentage of outside Seattle funding is Ethan Hunter, the 19-year-old running in District 4. Hunter has received $2,850, or 47% of his $6,060 total from non-Seattleites. That doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it can be a lot of money depending on who's giving it to him and whether or not he wins. I'm proud that for my campaign, 39% of the dollars and 45% of the contributors live in my district, said Logan Bowers, the D3 candidate and owner of #Cannabis, wrote in an email to the Stranger. Now, Logan, you are getting all of this from your district, but does your district have a vested interest in your business? Do they want you to win because they want your business to stay alive? Got to ask yourself that. Of course, you probably don't care as long as you win. Sometimes people don't care how they get there as long as they get there. Know what I mean? 90% of my contributors live in Seattle, said Logan. I'm here for our neighbors and our neighborhoods, and the money shows it. By contrast, half of Kshama Sawant money comes from outside of the Seattle area. The money shows she's representing someone, but it isn't us. Egan Orion, director of the Capitol Hill Chamber of Commerce and the Broadway Business Improvement Area, echoes pretty much the same sentiment. Her massive outside funding concerns me, which I'm actually going to write Kshama Sawant, and I'm going to ask her if she can tell me why she's taking money from outside of Seattle and what are they expecting in return, because nobody gives you. Let me put it another way. In this movie, Paddington Bear Part 2, there's a guy named Knuckles McGinty, and his philosophy is, I don't do nothing for no one for nothing. Which means that when Kshama Sawant takes that money, she's agreeing to do whatever they need her to do. Because they don't give nothing to nobody for nothing. Her massive outside funding concerns me, Orion told the stranger. The people who are funding her campaign are more concerned about the policy initiatives and priorities of the Socialist Alternative Party than the concerns of the people who live in her district. Nearly all of my funding comes from Seattle, and the majority of my campaign support is from right here in my district. When asked about these criticisms, Sawant's campaign finance director, Eva Metz, cast the council's members' high percentage of out-of-Seattle contributions as working class people in other cities and states being inspired by what socialists and working people have accomplished in Seattle. Y'all haven't accomplished nothing. Your drug rate is up over the top of the wall. Your homelessness is off the charts. Your high cost of living is horrible. Your housing prices are terrible. Your low income is atrocious, and your high cost of living is unbearable. So what are you guys doing? You're not doing nothing. You're taking the money and you're running. Go on, take the money and run. I can't sing, so you have to bear with me on that. But you get my point. It says here, according to Metz, there is fundamental differences between working people across cities donating to our working class campaign and big business and corporate PACs headed by mega multinational corporations trying to buy this election. An apparent swipe at the interest, the Seattle Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce's well-funded PAC is likely to take in defeating Sawant. The Chamber's PAC has not yet declared who it's backing in D3. That claim seems to be true. Sawant's contributions are coming from a myriad of places and workers. 11 unemployed people sent money her way. 4 of them were from out of state. An unemployed person from Grand Rapids, Michigan sent in $200 in 3 donations spanning 3 months. People from universities all over the country, omitting Seattle schools, contributed $2,000 and something each. Many of these were small sums spread out over months. Employees from employees from Minneapolis Public Schools, 400, and Chicago Public Schools donated 480. Service industry folks from coffee shops in Los Angeles, 240 over 3 months. One worker at a Potbelly sandwich shop in Burlington, Massachusetts, 400 across 4 donations, spent money for Sawant. Really? You guys really expect me to believe this? Look, I just read you this. That all these little nobodies are sending in money from bumfucked Egypt out in the middle of nowhere to help a campaign that they have nothing to do with in Seattle. And y'all expect us to believe that's how you got your money? Sawant, you and I need to sit down and have a talk. You really do. We really need to sit down and have a talk, because pretty soon the cat's going to be out of the bag, and you're going to be looking really stupid, because they're going to find out where the money's really coming from and why it's coming there. It says here, there was also a big showing in the transportation sector in Minnesota. Employees from Minnesota Department of Transportation and Metro Transit in Minneapolis spent $250 and $200 respectively. Okay, now I live in Minneapolis, and I deal with Metro Transit, and I deal with the Metropolitan Council almost every other day. I can find out if they really sent that money. They'll tell me, because they don't like being brought up on stuff that they have nothing to do with. Now, if they say, yes, we donated to her campaign because we like what she's doing, then I'll believe it and I'll report on that. But if they tell me we don't know what in the hell she's talking about, we don't know why they're saying we sent that money, we never sent that money, then I'll report on that too. And I'll tell Kshama Sawant, when I call her this coming week, I'm going to call her and tell her, I'm going to reread this, and I'm going to tell her, look, I checked with the Med Council of Minneapolis. They say they don't know what in the hell's going on. They've never heard of you. If they've never heard of you, I'll tell her that. I'll contact her and tell her. So there's also 3 from Illinois, 2 from Minnesota, 1, I guess, the Midwest loves Sawant. And weirdly enough, big tech employees gave Sawant $5,277. Microsofties are her biggest supporters. 9 of them made up $3,340 of that. The rest were Amazon employees, and the Amazon employees are the ones that didn't want the head tax to help the homeless. Hello. And Googlers, $617. Despite more than half of her campaign contributions coming from outside the city, Sawant has raised $72,131 from Seattle residents. Now that's good if it comes from the actual residents of Seattle. That's more money than inside the Seattle city limits than any other candidate. That's also more than twice the amount of Orion has raised in a total of $34,515. We're proud that our re-election campaigns has the most donors from within Washington State of any campaign in the race, with 1,100 and counting, Metz said. But I'm going to be asking exactly where this money's coming from. And I want to know for sure, because I'm going to be reporting back on this, and I'm going to be saying, hey, you know, something doesn't smell good, and you know, something smells rotten in Denmark. If it smells rotten, you can go pretty much to a garbage full of junk that's been sitting there for a while. Anyway, I just wanted to report on that because it kind of caught my eye. This was from a story that I came across that somebody sent me a link to, and I wanted to talk on it because I'm a big Bernie Sanders supporter. I don't believe that Bernie Sanders should become president, but I do believe that some of the things that Bernie Sanders wants to do should be implemented in small ways within our government. I believe that if the state would take a more active role in what they're supposed to be doing and take care of the citizens within their state, that there would be less government control. If the cities would just back away, if the states would just back away from the government and say, leave us alone, let us do our thing, and become more constitutionalist and less democracy and more republicanism, I think America could actually become something better than it is at the moment. Having said that, I'm going to let you go. This is a video that I'm doing because the last few days I've been sick. I haven't felt like doing any videos, and nobody really listens to my videos. But I'm doing them on the off chance that someday somebody will listen and will get some news out of it. Anyway, this has been All Things Considered, because I consider all things. Have a good night, Seattle, and all points beyond.